going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of the Forgotten Race Review. Today, like we announced last week at the request of Sam Thurman, we'll be covering a variant skinwalker breed, specifically the werewolf kin, or as you might also know them, the witch wolf. If you have any requests for this series or any other series, as always, throw them in the comments below and we'll get right on them. Before we get down to that though, this episode of the Forgotten Race Review was brought to you in part by Lord Manant, who is in fact our newest patron as of this morning. Thank you so much, my friend, for your time and your support. It means the world. Now let's get to it. We did cover the Skinwalker earlier in this channel's history, and if you'd like to check it out, follow this card right here. The vanilla Skinwalker, of course, can change their form when they shift to pull off whatever it is that they need, but the Pathfinder supplement, Blood of the Moon, did introduce 8 new variant Skinwalker breeds that are much more microscope in rather than versatility. If nothing else, they're much more focused on the flavor, and hey, that's the most important part of Pathfinder, right? The Witch Wolf is a humanoid who can trace their ancestry back to a werewolf. That's not necessarily to say that their mother or father was a werewolf, but maybe like great-great-great-great-great-grandpa had a secret that he didn't tell anybody about. And oops, down the generational line, now you have a witch wolf. The werewolf folklore that we know about today arose during the Middle Ages amongst the context of Christianization. The underlying common origin can be traced back to Proto-Indo-European mythology, where lycanthropy itself is an aspect of the initiation of the warrior class. But of course, in the early Christian church, such transformation of men into wolves was associated with the devil. In Pathfinder, the werewolf kin are perhaps the most common of the visible skinwalker heritages you're going to find in the Inner Sea region and even beyond. It's not uncommon for these guys to dwell with werewolves or others of their kind in small, isolated settlements. They're also known to live in semi-nomadic bands as traders, mystics, adventurers, or even entertainers, which allows them to wreak havoc in remote settlements before slipping off into the darkness to escape the subsequent suspicion and hostility of local townsfolk. Generally speaking, werewolf kin have prominent eyebrows that grow together, long index fingers, or wild hair that seems impossible to tame. Their packs are often led by witches trained in a tradition of curses and transformation that are tied closely to the original curse of lycanthropy. These witches are also usually the most powerful members of their packs, though exceptions exist when a witch leads with the aid of a favorite ally of incredible strength. Werewolfkin tend to be more cautious and maintain closer bonds with members of their race because unlike true werewolves, they can't recruit people into the pack by, biting them and waiting for the full moon. When these guys shift into their bestial form, their eyes, typically speaking, take on an amber or pale blue hue. Their canines sharpen to points, patches of fur sprout all along their skin, and their ears elongate as their senses are drastically heightened. Werewolfkin are often passionate and intimidating. Their first transformation commonly occurs during puberty or shortly thereafter, beneath the light of the full moon. Like their werewolf relatives, as one can probably imagine, witch wolves are feared and despised for the savagery that characterizes the majority of werewolves. Certainly, many witch wolf bands are happy enough to, rob and murder fellow travelers. Now, we only have random height and weight and starting ages for the vanilla skinwalker, so this might change a little across your various bloodlines. Perhaps the bear lives a little longer, perhaps the bat lives the shortest, perhaps the crocodile is a little taller. If nothing else, it's totally okay to base your height and weight and your starting age around your more humanoid ancestry. For example, if your witch wolf happens to come from a family of elves, there's nothing saying you don't just use the elf table, because that's part of you as well, right? Today we're going to assume that our witch wolf came from human parents, though there's nothing saying that your witch wolf who was born from gnomes or halflings, who eventually becomes a witch wolf, didn't just, shoot up 3 feet when they hit puberty. In any case, a male witch wolf stands anywhere from 5 foot to the middle of 6 feet tall, with females being a few inches shorter. Males weigh anywhere from 130 to 220 pounds. Females, again, fall just a little below that line at 95 to 185 pounds. These guys come of age at 15 years old, which is also when humans come of age. So again, if your witch wolf has dwarven parents or Aasimar parents, use those stats and I'm sure you'll be just fine. Assuming that our skinwalker is aging like a human, they will reach middle age at 35 years old, Their maximum age, of course, 70 plus 2d20 years. Now let's dive into the character sheet, shall we? The vanilla Skinwalker is well attuned to the natural order of things, and they value passion above reason. The numbers are pretty much the same for the Witch Wolf, who receives a +2 to his constitution and a -2 to his intelligence, but a +2 to his wisdom while shape-changed. Witch Wolves, like vanilla Skinwalkers, are medium creatures, and they're humanoids with the Skinwalker and Shape-Changer subtype. They have a base speed of 30 feet. Just like the vanilla Skinwalker, a Witch Wolf can change shape to and from their bestial form as a standard action. While in their bestial form, a Witch Wolf has a +2 to their wisdom, and also has access to different bestial features than the vanilla Skinwalker. Our Witch Wolf has access to a bite attack that deals 1d6 points of damage, 2 claws that deal 1d4 points of damage, dark vision out to 60 feet, or a +2 racial bonus on all saving throws. Witch Wolves receive a +2 bonus on perception checks and wild empathy checks, and can cast Magic Fang once a day. Now, I've actually had the pleasure of playing a Witch Wolf for a very long time in a running campaign. It's taken a couple weeks off lately because, real life. But I'm certainly looking forward to getting back to the character because the character's a lot of fun. The story has changed his worldview on life and even the world around him so much that I almost don't even consider him a Skinwalker anymore. Just an Arcadian man with a bunch of buffs to his saves, which you can't go wrong with. But of course, that's not to say that your Witch Wolf couldn't be a lawful good paladin, a lawful neutral cleric of Abadar, anything in between, just because they have the ancestry of a werewolf. To go even farther than that, there's certainly a precedent for werewolves themselves to be any alignment you want them to be. Werewolfkin in Pathfinder are often drawn to adventure by a desire to prove themselves, either to earn their place as an alpha of a given pack. Those who wish to fight against that image often turn to the legends of the Hounds of Good, which are rare and blessed witch wolves who retain human dignity and virtue despite their lycanthropic heritage. Witch Wolf NPCs in your game could certainly belong to the Hounds of Good, or they could certainly be stalking the party to kill and eat them. Really, it's entirely up to you how it is you want to use these guys. Witch Wolves can come from dwarven parentage and live just outside the mountain home because they were shunned, or they could come from halfling parentage and just be really hungry for food all the time, not unlike halflings. Or they could come from one of the million human ethnicities on Golarion. It's entirely up to you. You can play your Witch Wolf, again, pretty much however you want, and that's one of the things I love the most about this race, and really all of Skinwalkers in general, because they are so versatile. But what do you guys think about the Witch Wolf? Have you ever played one? Have you ever used Witch Wolves, or even Skinwalkers in general, in your campaign? If so, how'd it work out for you? Throw in the comments below, and we'll keep the conversation going. Don't forget, guys, our Doomsday Dawn adventure giveaway is live right now. We've ticked up to $107 a month on Patreon. We are so close to meeting our Patreon goal, where yours truly can take a day off work and run you and 5 of your fellow subscribers through the Pathfinder Doomsday Dawn adventure, that first ever published thing for Pathfinder 2nd edition. If you'd like to learn more about that giveaway, follow this card right here. And for all you people out there who love first edition as much as I do, to celebrate 10 years of a wonderful RPG, we're holding a tournament to send Pathfinder first edition off in style. I need 16 of your most optimized centaurs and drow nobles and ogres and driders and anything else you might throw together, with a couple caveats, of course, to, kill your fellow players for Bloodsport. If you'd like to learn more about that giveaway, follow this card right here. And as always, our Patreon is in the description. Starting next week, our patrons' requests will be jumping the front of the line. And hey, if you'd like to see your request for any of my series, cut the honestly pretty long line that exists, patronage at any tier will allow you to do so. Next week, we'll be covering a race from Psionics Unleashed by Dreamscarred Press, the Maenad, and it drops next Monday.